Badminton is a competitive sport and in 1992 was introduced into the Olympic Games. The aim of the game is to get more points than your opponent. You can get points by hitting shuttlecock across the net and into your opponent's half of the court, forcing them to make a mistake, such as hitting the shuttlecock incorrectly. If the opponent cannot return the shuttlecock back to you and it hits the floor, it is now your point. In badminton, the court is split up to two halves by a net and each individual protects their own half of their court. The player should serve the shuttlecock over the net, not under, for the game to start. Once the shuttlecock is over the net and on the opponent's side of the court, they are now allowed to hit the shuttlecock back using the correct technique to return the shuttlecock. Dimensions. A badminton court is a large and rectangular, marked out with 40mm wide lines. The dimensions of the court are 13.4 metres long and 6.1 metres wide. The posts are 1.55 metres in height and they must remain vertical whilst playing, and there should be a net from one post to the other. Scoring. All games are played to the best of 3 games, and to win a game you must score 21 points. For example, if player A is winning 20-15 and he gets the next point, take it to 21-15. This means player A has won the first game, so overall the game is player A 1, player B. After each game, the points will reset back to 0-0. However, the first to 21 point rule doesn't apply if both individuals have 20 points each. Then you are required to win by 2 clear points. For example, 22-20, 24-22. This rule is cancelled out when the score is tied 29-29. The player who gets the next point wins the game. Rules and regulations. The game consists of best of 3 of 21 points. If the game is tied 20-20, the player who gets a 2-point lead wins. If the game is tied 29-29, the first player who gets to 30 points wins. A game must be played indoors using the correct court dimensions. The game must include a 90-second rest after the first game and a 5-minute rest after the second game. To score a point, the shuttlecock must land on the opposing player's court, or if they cannot return the shuttle due to hitting the net or lands outside the court dimensions. To serve, the players must be diagonal, otherwise it's an illegal serve. Technique to serve should be underarm, below the server's waist and the racket shaft pointing downwards. When the rally is stopped due to a point being won, the player should move to the next position and continue serving diagonally. No second serves allowed, meaning if you hit the net or hit the shuttlecock out of the court, the opposing player will gain the point. Both players are not allowed to touch the net with their racket or any part of their body. Both players are not allowed to hit the shuttlecock twice. The officials are in charge of the game and their job is to make sure the game is being played the right way and fairly. They manage to keep the game in order by following the law of badminton and competition regulations in the BWF. In singles, they should be requiring a total of 6 officials. The main official is called the umpire and they are in charge of the game, the court and the surroundings. 4 line judges, 2 for each side of the court where the baseline is. The line judge's job is to tell the umpire if the shuttlecock is in or out of the court. And lastly, a service judge. Faults. If either of the players perform the following, it is called a fault, resulting in the other player gaining a point. Hitting the shuttlecock twice. The server steps forward as they serve. Both feet must be stationary during the serve. If a player fakes a serve, if the shuttlecock lands in the correct areas of the court, if the server isn't diagonal while serving, if either touches the net with their rackets or bodies, if the shuttlecock touches anywhere apart from your racket, example arm, leg, or even a piece of clothing, you cannot hit the shuttlecock until it is on your side of the court. When you serve, you must hit the shuttlecock below your waist and your racket must swing in an upwards direction. Equipment. Racket. They are usually made from carbon fibre or aluminium. The reason why badminton rackets are made from these types of metals is because they are incredibly light, helping the player in performance, resulting in smooth and quicker movements. Parts of a badminton racket include the head, throat and shaft, and a handle with maximum length of 27.77 inches and a width of 9 inches. The strings are stretched across the racket in a checkered pattern, and this is where you hit the shuttlecock. The shuttlecock. This acts as a ball in different racket sports like tennis, and it creates more drag whilst in the air due to its design. The design of shuttlecock is very unusual. It's a cone shape with a hard rubber end where the racket connects with the shuttlecock. It also has around about 16 feathers or plastic feathers. This creates drag. The feathers' lengths range between 2.44 and 2.75 inches. Situation 1. Multiple hits of the shuttlecock. Each player is only allowed to hit the shuttlecock once at a time. They cannot hit it multiple times. If either player hits the shuttlecock multiple times, this will result in a foul, meaning that the player who hit the shuttlecock multiple times will lose the rally. This action breaks the following rule. Each side can strike the shuttlecock only once before it passes over the net. Once hit, a player can't strike the shuttlecock in a new movement or shot. The officials will now take action resulting in a foul, meaning you will lose the rally. In the result of you losing a rally, your opponent will now have an advantage because they will get the point and also get the serve too. Hitting the net, situation 2. In badminton, if either player hits the net with their racket or any part of their body or shuttlecock during the game, this will result in a foul for the player who committed the offence. The following action will break this rule. At no time during the game should the player touch the net with their racket or his body. If either player broke this rule, the player who broke it will be given a foul, meaning he will lose the rally, resulting in losing a point. The common perception of this rule is, what if a player falls over during the match and touches the net? The player still has touched the net, meaning he has broken the rule. This rule makes the sport of badminton a lot more technical due to the fact that players will need to control their follow through whilst hitting the shuttlecock. Situation 3. Serving straight. You cannot serve in a straight line during the game of badminton, otherwise it's an immediate foul. Even if he follows all the rules, of badminton, for example, hitting the net. In badminton, you must serve diagonally, meaning that you and the other player is in their own half of the court opposite each other. Serving straight breaks the following rule. A serve must carry across court diagonally to be considered as a suitable and correct serve. There is no second serves in badminton. This means you cannot retake your serve, resulting in a foul. Boxing. Boxing is a compact sport, and it is where two individuals engage in physical contact using only their fists, which will be covered in boxing gloves at a predetermined amount of time in a boxing ring. Dimensions of a boxing ring. The ring is square shape, surrounded by ropes, which is connected by 4 posts in each of the 4 corners. The surface of the boxing ring is covered with a thick layer of padding, no less than 1.5 centimeters or no more than 2 centimeters thick. The material which can be used can be felt, rubber, or any other suitable materials which isn't slippy and cover the entire surface. A boxing ring is between 16 feet and 20 feet. The ropes are approximately 1 inch in diameter and heights of a height 18, 30, 42 and 54 inches above the mat. The ropes are connected by 4 posts, which are the corners of the ring, and the height of the posts are around 5 foot. Rules and regulations. During the duration of a boxing match depends on the weight class of both athletes. There are between 9 to 12 3-minute rounds with 1 minute rest after each round. If the boxer gets hit below the waist, they are allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to recover. You're only allowed to punch using a clenched fist, and you are not allowed to punch below the waist, back of the neck/head, or in the kidney area. If either athletes punch in this area, they may risk losing a point. You cannot use the ropes as leverage. It is illegal to hit your opponent when they are down. You cannot hold your opponent in a headlock. You cannot hit with your head, elbow, shoulder, forearm or lower body. If either boxer scores a knockdown, they must move to the furthest corner away from the initial knockdown and wait until the referee gives you a signal to carry on. If you have been knocked down, you have 10 seconds to get back up on your feet. If you can't get up in these 10 seconds, you will lose the match. If a boxer performs a foul resulting in the opponent being seriously injured, the boxer who committed the foul gets disqualified. However, if the boxer is in good condition to carry on, the boxer who committed the foul will have 2 points deducted. If either boxer falls out of the ring, they have 20 seconds to get back into the ring, and they cannot be assisted. Only the referee can stop the match if he feels like if either boxer is in danger or struggling. Players and equipment. In boxing, there are weight division classes. This means there is a certain body weight